That's the new us. That's the boast. You cannot say that the Most High did away with his people and got a new people. And it's so sad that the Gentiles gave us this understanding that God did away with his people. So they boast by saying God did away with his people, right? Then they told God's people that they were Gentiles and that he did away with his people. So they got us 2 times as worse. It's a double boast going on. God done away with his people. How you read that in the scriptures? You ain't read that nowhere in the scripture. Nowhere. Keep reading, brother.
Thou wilt say then, the branches were broken off, that I might be grafted in.
There's the boast. The branches was broken off, so that I may be grafted in. Nah, keep reading. You about to get understanding here.
Well, because of the unbelief, they were broken off, and thou standest by faith. Be not high-minded, but fear.
Be not what?
Be not high-minded.
But what?
But fear.
Don't get all high-minded telling him he did away with his people for you. Don't be high-minded, but fear. Why should they fear?
For if the Most High spared not the natural branches, take heed, lest he also spare not thee.
So take heed that if he did this to his own people, imagine what he do to a bunch of people that's contrary. Imagine what he do to a bunch of people that were grafted in contrary to nature. If he do this to his own people, look, don't fear, all right? Because he'll do the same thing to you, faster. Keep reading.
Behold, therefore, the goodness of severity of the Most High on them which fell, severity, but toward thee goodness, if thou continue in his goodness. Otherwise, thou also shalt be cut off.
So they can be cut off also. Keep reading.
And they also, if they abide not still in unbelief.
So he's talking about Israel right now. If they abide not in unbelief, right? What happens?
In unbelief shall be grafted in.
Oh.
For the Most High is able to graft them in again.
So he's able to bring them back. Keep reading.
For if thou wert cut out of the olive tree, which is wild by nature, and wert grafted contrary to the nature into a good olive tree, how much more shall these, which be natural branches,
Keep reading.
be grafted into their own olive tree?
Let's read this. He says, for if thou were cut out of the olive tree, which is wild by nature, and were grafted contrary to nature. So he's telling the Gentiles, you were grafted from a whole nother tree and grafted into mine contrary to nature, right? Contrary to nature. How much more shall these, which be the natural branches, be grafted into their own olive tree? So how much more will it be when they come back to their own olive tree? Come back to their God. Come back to their Father. How much more will it be for them? If he got the Gentiles out here rich and running the world, imagine what he's going to do for his own people. Right? But I don't understand how they pass this up in church. How do you pass this up? Let's keep reading.
For I would not, brethren, that ye should be ignorant of this mystery, lest ye should be wise in your own conceit, that blindness in part is happened to Israel.
With that again, at blindness in what?
But blindness in part is happened to Israel.
Not as a whole, but blindness in part has happened to Israel. Go ahead. Until
the fullness of the Gentiles be come in.
So until the Gentiles' fullness be come in. That links you right over to Luke 21 and 20. It's another precept. Luke 21 and 20 is a precept that lets you know that Jerusalem shall be trodden down with the Gentiles until the time the Gentiles be fulfilled. We know that the so-called Jewish people are from Japheth, who made Gentiles. So Jerusalem is being trodden down of Gentiles at this very moment. That's our own point the scriptures are. So we got Paul saying right here that the Most High ain't do away with his people, right? He couldn't have did away with his people, right? We'll skip back now because we're going to go back to Christ because like I said, that's funny because the first person they try to speak to you was Paul and what Paul said, and they don't have any understanding of what Paul was talking about. Because how can Paul say there's no Jew and no Gentile and come back and say God did away with that he did away with his people, or that he didn't do away with his people? Now that's two different things. So that means it's a contradiction in the Bible, or Paul was a hypocrite. Which one are you saying? And if you can't say either one of them, maybe we should learn to read the book and get real understanding of this book, and not tradition and not doctrine. All right? Let's go back to Christ. You see what Christ is talking about. Because Christ is just Man. Let's go to let me see something. Excuse me. We're gonna go to 2 Samuel. No, before we go there, go to Deuteronomy 7 and 6. Deuteronomy 7 and 6. We're using nothing but scripture. Nothing that tell you this right here. The Old Testament is done away with, and it's the New Testament. And they say that the New Testament and the New Covenant, that's where the spiritual Israel come in at. Alright? So we're going to go back to the Old Testament. We're going to read Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. Read that, brother.
Deuteronomy 7 and 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Hold on. So this is the Most High choosing Israel. Israel didn't choose the Most High chose them. It's the difference here. It says, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. And the Lord thy God have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Above all people that are on the face of the earth. The Most High chose Israel. How can you be mad because the Most High chose Israel? That makes no sense. Let's go to 2 Samuel now. 7 and 23. People mad because the Most High chose Israel. And the sad part about it is, Israel is mad because the Most High chose Israel. How Israel gonna be mad? That's what gets me confused. You tell your own people, our own people don't even have a history right now. You try to give them some history back, and they get mad at you. Like just about all black people ain't vote for Barack Obama. Right. But it don't matter what color you are, but you made sure you voted for that black president, huh? What's the point of having an NAACP if it don't matter? In that case, then don't cry racism if we all just one people then.
Exactly.
Don't cry racism. That's because we're not balanced as a people. We only pick and choose when we want to. What's convenient for us. The Bible don't make itself convenient for us. You have to become convenient for what the word says. So we go to 2 Samuel, verse 7. Excuse me 1 second. Verse 7. And we're going to start at 23. And all right, brother, you go ahead and read.
2 Samuel 7 and 23. And what one nation in the earth is like thy people? Even like Israel.
Even like who?
Even like Israel.
No, even like the world.
Even like Israel.
Even like the Russians.
Even like Israel.
You sure it says Israel?
Even like Israel.
Okay, the word said that. Go ahead and finish that off for me.
Whom the Most High went to redeem for a people to himself.
Hold on, he went to do what?
To redeem for a people to himself.
No, he went to redeem the whole world for himself.
Israel.
Keep reading.
And to make him a name, and to do for a people to himself, and to make him a name, and to do for you great things and terrible for thy land, before thy people which thou redeemest to thee from Egypt, from the nation and their gods.
Keep reading.
For thou hast confirmed to thyself thy people Israel.
Hold on. For thou hast confirmed to thyself thy people what?
Israel.
Thy people who?
Israel.
To be what?
To be a people unto thee forever.
For how long?
Forever.
For 1 week.
Forever.
For 3 years.
Forever.
No, until Christ come and he die.
Forever.
Forever. Israel is his people forever. Sorry. You can't change that. Israel is the Most High's people forever. Keep reading.
And thou, Lord, art become their Most High. And now, O Lord, Most High, the word that thou hast spoken concerning thy servant and concerning his house, establish it forever. And do as thou hast said. And let thy name be magnified forever.
Okay.
Saying, the Lord of hosts is God over Israel.
Is who?
Is God over Israel.
God over the world.
God over Israel.
I don't get it. How can you read that and see something and see spiritual Israel? Other than say, I know who I am spiritually. You don't even know who you are naturally. You can't even trace your roots back. Then people try to tell you, oh, I ain't trying, I'm just saying it's some good knowledge.